A lot of you may have heard of this piece of equipment, but you probably don't recognize it, and you may not have known really what it was going to look like in the first place. But this is the Harrington Seed Destructor, and it's a a devastating piece of equipment for weed seeds as they come out of a combine in the field. Judson Wheatley is with the company in South Australia that makes these. And has this been made for a number of years and we just haven't found out about them in the U.S.?
I think you guys know about them in the US in a sort of research capacity, but probably not in a day-to-day capacity. So we're trying to introduce this product now into the US so that your farmers can benefit from what Australian farmers have been benefiting from for the last 12 years.
Okay. How does this work? It goes on the back of a combine and really processes the outflow.
Yeah. So this machine fits onto the back of the combine harvester just below the grain sieves. And so we take all of the chaff material from those sieves and we dump it all into this hopper. We then distribute the chaff into the mills at each end here that you can see. And the mills spin at 3,000 RPM, which is about 250 miles an hour on the tip of the rotors. And that provides an impact trauma to the weed seeds that at least cracks them, but generally is going to kill them. So we kill most seeds come out of this over 99% dead. Waterhemp, for example, I know that's a favourite weed around here, or a favourite weed to get rid of. So that comes out at about 98% that we can kill that. If we can get it into the HSD, then we can take care of it.
Well, I think a lot of people, they perked up their ears when you said at least 98% of it. Okay.
So that's the trick. We really need to set up from the front of the combine to make sure that we get most of the threshing and separation done in the rotor of your combine, and then deal with the weed seeds that come through in the chaff material. We absolutely don't want any of that straw material coming through to the HSD. That uses horsepower. And that uses more, and that cushions seeds. So we really need to get that out of the sample and just process the chaff, and we'll take care of it from there.
Okay. Now, this will work on any grain, any time, or there are restrictions on really what we can put through it?
Yeah, so the big restriction probably with these mills is moisture content. So we're very comfortable that we can process up to about 18% moisture content of the chaff. So that's not the grain, but the chaff sample itself, which is there's still a bit of moisture in that. But anything much above that, we start to see that start to clog up and plug the mills. So the latest release HSDs have got a baffle in place that keeps the straw out of the machine in the first place, but then also we can lower that baffle and we can take the chaff back into the spreaders or the chopper at the back, so we can run in an OEM configuration of that combine within sort of a 2-minute changeover.
Okay, so there are adjustments that can be made now. That's when it's installed. Can these be done on the fly too if we're in the middle of a field?
Absolutely, yeah. So it requires you stopping and then making a change to that baffles. But that's, as I say, that's about a 2-minute job. So if conditions change and they become too tough, or if you started a bit too early or a bit early in the morning and it's a bit wetter, then you can install that baffle like it's a movable baffle. You can just put that in place and keep operating. And then obviously you want to get all the weed seeds you can, but I guess we've seen those weed seeds develop over a number of years, and this solution is going to help get rid of them. It's not going to be instantaneous, but we'll achieve a goal over a number of years as well.
Okay, now, probably 95% of the folks watching this or listening are going to say, well, does it work on both corn and beans?
Yeah, so we probably recommend that you target your weeds in beans. You're going to pick up more weed seeds through that process. Whereas corn, it's a bit harder on the mills. We'd probably say that you're better off in terms of mill wear and damage to the mills. You're better off really running in beans and drier beans, so food grade beans we think are going to work really well. Small grains, fantastic. We're very familiar with small grains in Australia. We noted that it works really well in the sort of the Montana and Dakotas and that sort of thing. We would like to, I guess, see more use in these eye states and in the dry conditions that we can see definite benefit for you guys over here though.
Okay. So it just depends upon what you have. It depends upon the moisture, primarily of the residue,
Yep.
not necessarily
That's
the
it.
seed.
That's it. Yep.
And so once you have checked the necessary boxes,
Mm-hmm.
then you can flip the switch and employ this on your combine.
Start destructing those seeds as soon as possible. Yeah.
And it'll do water hemp.
It'll do water hemp. There's no doubt about that. Jump onto the website. You can see the tables of that have been created by the University of Arkansas. So we've got a table against the common weeds in the US. So we kill generally 99% of most seeds that are weed seeds that are common in the US. Water hemp, we get definitely over 97% of it. Palmer amaranth, again, we see sort of 97+% kill on that. So you've got to get it in here. You may need to slow down a little bit to pick up those weed seeds when they're really wet, when the plants are very lush, I guess. But obviously it's worth the effort.
Okay. Now, what it does to the seed, it doesn't just mash it and just pulverize it.
No, so we're not cutting or grinding. We're not attempting to powderize it, but we're just relying on the impact trauma that's caused to the seed. As these mills spin around at 3,000 RPM, they're going to cause really violent impact from their rotational bars and then flinging that seed into the stationary bars. And every particle that goes through this mill gets at least 4 points of contact as it travels through. And that's the patented design of this mill. And that imparts enough damage to the seed to make sure it's not going to, it's devitalized on the way out and it's not going to germinate.
Going to get punched in the jaw four times and you're
It's
out
like being
cold.
slammed up against a wall at 200 miles an hour. You're not going to like that 4 times, right?
Judson, we appreciate it very much. Judson
Very
Wheatley, whose company makes the Harrington Seed Destructor, and I've certainly learned a lot about it, and I hope you have too, because I know a lot of farmers are trying to figure out just how they can get rid of some of that extra water hemp. A lot of farmers are using green or red. John Deere combines, it fit all of them?
So this is, so the machine uses about 85 horsepower. We get a lot of that back through configuring the combine to optimize separation. But we are restricted to S-Series John Deere's and flagship case machines. We certainly like to see Class 8 and above combines, but it does fit to Class 7s as well.